Hello. So today I have a job, which is to put necklaces into little baggies. And these are necklaces my father would make. And I'll just show you when I put in a baggie. Some of them are finished, and some of them are started and not finished. Some of them are things that he put explanatory tags on. This one looks like he never quite finished it. Needs a clasp. This is cultured pearls, or I don't know what they call them, manufactured pearls. They're not natural, or in some sort of pearl farm or wherever they are, cultured pearls. And I think the black things here are coral, but I'm not sure because there's no label. So that goes in this bag. Let's see what this one says. This one does have a tag, and this is sort of a drop. So imagine this. These are your boobs. Is that what your boobs look like? And this is your cleavage between them, and that's your pendant coming down. So these look like they're, oh, look, there's a face there. These look like they're nuts or something. I don't know what they are. Here's a little carved head made of maybe bone. Pieces of turquoise, a little brass or bronze bead of some sort, and little pieces of coral. Let's see what he says. Cluster, carved nut, china, miscellaneous naga glass, coral, turquoise, bone and shell, rawhide, cord, and waxed linen. The waxed, oh, there's the rawhide cord. It's here. The waxed linen is either black or tan, and they are used to tie everything together. And how much was he selling this for? $125. Add to shopping cart. He sold these at a couple of museums around the country, and Boston Museum, the Minneapolis Institute of Art. This one is this big gob of turquoise and more of these cultured pearls. Here's his little tag that he put on each of these. It says Gustafson upside down. It says it right side up when you turn it over. This is large turquoise pendant from Africa, freshwater pearls from China, and waxed linen with little knots in them. And then the clasp is this chunk of shell. So you'd put that around your neck. Here's your cleavage again. Here are your boobs. Your boobs move like that? Are they that bumpy? So an acquaintance of mine said, I said, don't you just love this? And she said, I love the necklace, but I don't think I would like the woman that would be wearing it, which I thought was kind of interesting. What does this one have? This is more like a standard string of beads necklace. Carved bone. So these are pieces of bone that have been carved into little basket weaving things by someone with a lot of time on their hands. and a lot of skill in their fingers and sharp tools. And what I'm doing, why I'm putting these in baggies, is we're going to put them in boxes and store them so we can sell. Right now they're all over the place and in furniture that we're going to be selling and things like that, drawers and stuff. So we're putting them, unfortunately, into big ugly plastic tubs. But my father would work on maybe 20 necklaces at any given time, and he'd have bowls and boxes and baggies of beads of various colors, and he'd usually sort of sort out. There were areas that had little bowls in them throughout the house, and they'd have a selection of beads. And it's like he went to the grocery store and went to the produce section and bought a cucumber and a carrot and a banana, and he made his little shopping thing to make a salad. And that's what he did here. He sort of built in his head, he picked the items that would go into a necklace, and then he'd start stringing and knotting and stringing and knotting again. Sometimes he was more deliberate. Maybe he would be on a particular kick and do a lot of bone rather than metal beads. Sometimes they were black and white rather than colorful. And sometimes he'd use beads that he made himself. And I wish I knew the answer to these. So here, this has a very complicated or sturdy clasp. He did have some trouble. The waxed linen would get hot. You'd wear it around your neck, and you'd go to the cocktail party, and this necklace would be talking to the blue necklace, and they'd be talking about how their husbands are each doing so well in their jobs, or whatever they say, and they might have an argument about something, and they'd get heated, and the waxed linen, the wax would sort of disappear, and then it was just the raw string, which would eventually sometimes break or fray and then break. So he started making these a little bit more robust, and sometimes that still happened. So this one, we have a little piece of what looks to be maybe a cut glass from another piece of jewelry. He also cannibalized costume jewelry or jewelry that was made by various tribes. He would buy cowrie shell belts and necklaces and take them apart and put them back together again. So here we have, it looks like a bone and two carved bones. This is just antler. It's an antler. Two carved bones and a piece of cork. It's a piece of stone, it looks like. What does he say? Cluster of antlery. Cluster of antlery, bone horn from India, and waxed linen. And this was $42. Now, how long do you think it took him to make this? Oh, hi, Renee. Making these little striped things, it would take me an hour to find the pieces I want to put together, and then 3 hours to put the things together. And is he working for $5 an hour? He was retired at the time, but okay, so let's say he sold this for $42. Let's say he paid, I don't know, what would he have paid for this piece of antler? $5, $1, 50 cents? I honestly don't know. This is all a mystery to me. And this was the retail price. The wholesale price, was half that. So he's making $2 an hour when you take in the cost of the beads and the stuff. Okay. This one, what does this have? Oh, this has some buttons. He owned a clothing store, and I imagine he had these are little enameled buttons that you could buy to go on your cufflinks or on your suit coat if you didn't want the buttons that were automatically there. So there's cultured pearls, buttons. Here's a piece of stone, it looks like. And a fake old coin with a Persian or fake Greek coin or Roman coin or something, I don't know. And then again, all of these complicated knotting. What does he say this is? Oh, this is for $49. If anyone wants to buy these, I bet they could. Someone wants to, send me a letter. Okay, am I already running out of baggies? I thought I grabbed a gob of them. Okay, this is too small. Here's one that he made using beads he made. So this piece of ceramic is something he made, and he made this one, and he made this one. And he took a clay pottery shop, and he didn't know could never get the wheel to go around and make a ashtray or something, so he made beads. And I don't think he sold a single one that he ever made. Most of them were kind of gray and kind of uninteresting. These at least have a little bit of color. These necklaces sound really fun. I think that's part of the fun of these things. Normally you don't hear necklaces, but here I think people that own them like to just handle them like this and hear the noise they'd make. And this one, these have, I imagine these are Indonesian beads, metal beads that he strung together. Here's a little piece of broken glass or something. Again, I don't know. This probably is an Afghani or Persian part of a necklace. And then he added this is again what he would do. It's not symmetrical. Here's the necklace, and here this side is completely unadorned, and this side has the little tiny bits of metal beads. It's like, why didn't he make them even, Dad? Why did you make them not even? Well, that's because he was my father. My father did crazy things. This one is a Chinese I don't know if this is carved or molded. Is this hand carved? I'll find out in a minute when I look. And again, little tiny knots and beads. Some of the beads are wooden, some are metal, some are animal bone. There's one he has that was made of a bunch of little baby monkey teeth pulled out of the little baby monkey's head. See, this is his signature, and on the back it's supposed to say carved Chinese brooch or something. It doesn't say that. What does this one say? Oh, okay, this is a very strange one. So here's a big chunk of shell that looks like it was put through a rock tumbler because all of the edges are smooth, and my father would not have done that, but he probably, why they were bothered to be done that way, I don't know. But and then he added cultured pearls, abalone shell, freshwater pearls from China, faux pearls, and crystal from Austria or Australia, AUST. So I don't know how, but see, this has just one band of string, which if you were to wear this 6 times, they'll start to fray, in which case they will fall off and my father would have to repair them, and that made him a little crazy. Okay, there's two more here. Okay, this one. Okay, Dad, what are you doing here? Okay, this is a part of a piece of a necklace or earrings or who knows what this was. And then he added little metal beads. Probably had a really boring chain on it. So he added these little tiny beads. Yeah, it could be. And then knotted all the way up. And it, again, it's this one he didn't bother to finish. So there's many that he finished almost all the way, but didn't bother to put the clasp on or the tag, the price tag. But here's one of my favorites. I think this was $225, $250. See, I remember that. Red glass beads from Naga, which is a country in Africa. Boar's tusk, which is what this big thing is. With cane from Africa, waxed linen. So all of these little things here, my father wrapped all of this brown and tan and black. My father tied and wrapped and tied and wrapped and tied and wrapped. And again, the glass beads. Here, essentially, he took two probably perfectly boring necklaces. This tusk might have been part of a necklace all by itself, and the red things might have been part of a necklace all by itself. And he took them both and wrapped them around each other and then added all of this stuff to make it actually interesting, because it was boring before that. I don't want to say nasty things about you know, the poor person who made the original tusk necklace and the other one, but let's just, yeah, boring. Boring. Now it's interesting, right? What do you think? Okay. I really think that we could put some of, we don't have to put one per baggie, but I have spent many, many hours trying to untangle these things, so having one per baggie will make it easier down the road to untangle them because they won't be tangled. But part of the fun is untangling them. Right? Part of the fun is growing your own tomatoes rather than buying them at the grocery store, even though you spend way more money and time growing them yourself. So untangling is sort of like the ritual of watering. It's just something you do. Well, we have, we're very much interested in repurposing things. They're kind of like making Franken pens. They're Franken necklaces, where he'll take actual necklaces and rip it apart to make something interesting, or beads that would have been used to make boring necklaces and mix them together and make something interesting. So here are, I don't know, how many did I bag up? A dozen? You want me to go get another dozen, Renee? Let me just see if I have baggies enough. How many baggies do I have here? I guess I have another, at least another dozen. So Renee, what do you think? Should I get more? Are you up for more? Be right back. Necklace time. There, how's that? Are you going to tell people I'll be right back? It'll take me 5 minutes. So you're in charge, Renee. Okay, now I'm saving those for a little bit. Okay, see, I've got a gob. Okay, let's start putting these down. Some of these are already tangled. I mean, they were tangled. They were tangled on the wall. They were hanging on little hooks on the wall. And consequently, when I was taking them off, they continued to remain tangled. This is one of my favorites. I don't know what he did with that one. I'm sitting that right there. Okay, these are tangled already. Okay, let's start. Okay, this one, there's no tag, but okay, so this much from here down was probably pre-made. So it's silver, probably a silver necklace, and who knows, could have been, I mean, sometimes they're belt buckles. But then he added a little piece of turquoise over here for color, and then this big knotted cord. So he didn't really add too much to this one. So I give him a B for that one, Dad. B for effort. Now, I'm sure that there was a reason that he did that one. This one was, I almost sold this to a client of mine. I also tried to sell pens to her. I mean, necklaces to her. I think she bought one very similar to this. It was a round carved stone or agate or something. Large glass ball. Well, this is a glass ball with brass rings from Ethiopia and waxed linen for $60. How could he sell them so cheap? Anyway, she bought one. I was visiting her for an event that I helped her create, and she had a dog that was dying and going to be put down later that week. And she wanted to see some of my dad's necklaces, and she bought one similar to that, except it had a bluish ball in the center, and it was sort of suspended inside of this ring with string and other beads. And she said that she's going to buy it because she needs something to hold her world together. Okay, here are two. So this one is sort of one of the monochromatic ones. They look like little torpedoes with propellers. Little malachite beads or something. I don't know what. My brother, who was with my father when he was buying a lot of these beads, he'll know what they are and be able to say something like, well, those beads were expensive, don't sell that yet or whatever. This one, okay, here we have a carved bone. And here's part of a fish bone. And another bone, more carved bones. Here's part of a leg and a little piece of antler and horn or something for color. What does he say about cluster? Mask, Kenya, fish bone, snake vertebra. Okay, where's the snake vertebra? Carved bone, India, horn, wax, linen. Okay, where's the snake? Right there. There's the snake vertebra. Right there. My parents did not travel too much. My dad would go to New York to buy clothing for his clothing store, and he would buy beads. So let me tell you how this bead thing started. This necklace thing started. I'll illustrate this with a story. Okay, so I'll draw it right side up. So I guess you're right side up. So here's the lake, where we have our cabin, and here's the docks with the sailboats and the motorboats and the trees, whatever, the birds, the sun, and here's my father looking down as he's walking along the beach, and he saw a fish bone, and he saw a feather, seagull feather, and he saw some fishing line and maybe a bobber, and what else did he find? Piece of driftwood, little piece of stick. And he kept walking, and he started winding these things together and made them into this little sculpture. And he put it in a showcase at his store along with the actual jewelry. And this woman came in and wanted to buy this thing my father made. Didn't want to buy the jewelry, which is over here, the real jewelry. And my father wasn't making his jewelry yet. She wanted to buy this gob. Well, it turns out her name was Judy Corlett. And Judy Corlett made necklaces. This is one of her necklaces. And she her neck, here's a bone and a piece of a chandelier and a little tassel. And she would make clothes as well. As oh, look at this. Oh, a hammer. Oh, it's cute. It's a tiny hammer. Oh, no scissors. And a little wrench. Does the wrench work? The wrench does not work. So, she would make these things as well. And she told my dad, you should make jewelry. And my father bought her jewelry to sell and bought her clothing that she'd make. And she'd take a suit jacket and a bunch of pieces of fabric and embroidery thread and run it through the sewing machine and come up with all these things. So, they both were cut from the same cloth, I guess. So, but my father, I think, I don't know if this is one of my dad's. So my father, used some of the same materials that Judy was using, but also put them together, I think, in ways that were a little bit more interesting. I think Judy Corlett's hers were more all over equal. There was any 3 inches of necklace looked like the next 3, sort of. They weren't spare and then turned into something big and then turned into something spare again. They were sort of more uniform all the way around. And my father was more interested in making things that sort of started small and then branched out and then became more bigger. So, so they're a little bit different. I mean, they're similar but different. Okay, this one, cultured pearls or freshwater pearls, a little piece of crystal or glass, some silver beads and some knots. So this is, one of his monochromatic ones. Here's another monochromatic one. Sort of the same. So he probably made these within a few hours from each other, based on that they sort of have the same kinds of things. This one, again, is monochromatic. Oh, a little bit of blue. Oh, there's some woven leather rawhide. I've got all of this stuff back in Boston, this woven leather bits. It's very brittle though, so it doesn't work all that well. So anyway, so there's those 3. Here's another one that has one of my dad's ceramic things he'd make. So they look sort of like a bone, a fish bone, except it's made of some black and gray ceramic bead with faux pearls and waxed linen. $42. Well, whatever tribal means is right. Here's one that I really like, and I don't know if he did anything to this. He might have just ripped off the price tag and put his own on. But it looks like this is maybe how he bought the necklaces, the beads, because they'd be strung together like this and sold as a collection of beads rather than individually picking them out of a box. You would buy a string of things and then cut them out. There's a couple that look like a sampler like this, where they, there's brown beads and green beads, but I don't think he strung them this way. He could have, but I doubt it. I think see, sampler. So again, he may have put that together, or maybe he bought it that way and just added a couple of bucks for his work. Okay, there's this one. bone tube. So this is again one that is more or less the same all the way through. And I find these less interesting than his other ones, but he liked those as well. I had a big box of them that I brought to Boston with me to sell, and it was in the gallery when over Christmas, and I came back and I think the box of them were all thrown out. I hope they were rescued. Okay, this is a little carved head. Mask Unk, whatever Unk means. Carved bone, India. Gold nuggets from China and waxed linen. I'm going to show you some of my favorites here. Since I'm running out of these. At Christmas time, when I was here, not this last year, the year before, I wore 2 necklaces, and my little brother, who isn't as accepting of my sense of humor, told me to change necklaces, so I changed them. But I'll show you the one I wore initially was this one. It's a turtle carapace. So I had this around my neck. I'd switch it from this side to that side once in a while. Turtle shell, bone skull beads, smoky jasper, India. Here's a little skull. Carved bones. He does have this beautiful one. I think maybe he sold it. He had 2 ivory carved skulls that he probably paid $100 a piece for, little tiny things like this, and really beautiful necklaces he made. So I took that one off and I came back with this one. I wore this one for the rest of the Christmas holidays. It was just this gold gob of $400 for this one, Dad. Boy, brass and miscellaneous chains from India. Why is this one so much compared to the others? Just because it looks gold? Anyway, they're all so different and so much fun, I think. And we have drawers and drawers and drawers of beads, and gobs of other beads. This one I like. This one is really fuzzy and furry. So they're shells and little pieces of turquoise, and he just let the string get frayed. And I really like this one a lot too. It's so unlike normal jewelry. Normal jewelry is sparkly and shiny, and they're not fuzzy. You don't have fuzzy necklaces, particularly. So here's another one that has those fake coins. Are we ready for more? Renee, are you still here? Why is this one $280? Some are expensive, and I don't understand why. Maybe it's supposed to be 80. Oh, 45. Maybe that gold one was, I was looking at the wrong number. Carry on? You want me to carry on? What is this one? Very old excavated agates from Kenya, red tube beads from Naga, waxed linen. So again, a very fuzzy one, hairy. These weren't manscaped. Well, let me just put these quickly back. Uh-oh, where did this one come off of? Pretend it was that one. There's drawers, absolute drawers full of ones he started. And I put them in some that look almost finished where he just forgot to put the clasp on them. And other ones were started, and then, were they going to be just that, or was that little piece going to go on something much bigger? Those are all things that are lost to time. And I'm sure sometimes he would forget as well. He would, well, not forget, but he would change his mind. He might start making something really big and then add things to it and then end up thinking, oh, well, I really like that piece all by itself. This, I think, is missing whatever was there, but maybe not. Maybe it's supposed to be empty. Is anyone else in the room watching? 3 people are watching. Well, who else is watching? Chime in, people. Okay, I'm going to do one more batch. I think I'm out of baggies, so I'll be right back. You're in charge. This one is rather oddly symmetrical. It's not just random, it's symmetrical and very delicate. This one is rather delicate and simple. It has this big gob of turquoise or whatever this is. Large turquoise disc from China in string. This one is another monochromatic one with little beads. This is another setting with an agate in it and other beads. This is another favorite of mine, just a piece of sea glass, and never finished this one. I just love that, very simple. Very, very elegant and simple on this one. Puce chips of stone, I guess. Another necklace. This one is another delicate one, similar to the red one I showed you. Oh, this is a piece of ivory. Ivory and turquoise. Okay, and then this one is carved or sliced walnuts or something in turquoise, and a couple of carved bone bits, leather. And this one is I think this is ceramic or something. Anyway, there we go. I think I'm going to find out if I'm out of baggies when I'm finished bagging these up. There's others that are already in baggies. Maybe I'll do another show and tell of those later. They were things that were brought about to friends of ours to buy, and bags that I brought to Boston, and my brothers would bring to their in-laws and stuff like that. So those are in a different location, but they all have to be put in one place and kept together and dealt with somewhere down the line. Because the showcases and the furniture that these things are in are going to be sold. Because we don't have room for them ourselves. You know that I have no room in my life for one single bead, let alone bunches of necklaces. Now my thought would have been to, put 2 or 3 necklaces per baggie, but my brother said no. I would have thought some of them could be paired up that were clearly different from each other. Like this one could be easily combined with another one like it without fear of them getting tangled. But there are some that are very complicated. Perhaps even a little fragile. Okay, I need a big baggie. This can go into a smaller baggie. And this can go into the bigger baggie. My thought was, wouldn't it be fun to take, put the unstrung beads in baggies and make the baggies be $10 each or whatever, some amount of money based just on gut feeling. But my brother, and then go to a jewelry craft show or something where people who know what these things are might be more inclined to, to buy them, and it would be interesting to see the necklaces that they make, see their artwork, so that I would know they would be going to a good home. Sort of the same way I sell pens, but it requires a lot of time sitting around at a show and buying a table and making price tags and filling out forms and taking checks and all of that kind of stuff. Whereas if you just sold them all to one person for, I don't know, whatever, $1,000, $50,000, $20,000, $5,000, I have no idea, and then let them do the work. That's another option. But the other thing is my nephew and my sister-in-law both love making necklaces as well, so maybe just keep them in the family and maybe I can start making necklaces. What do you think of that idea? Well, I'm done with what I need to do, so I'm going to see you all later. It was fun showing you these things. I don't know who else is in the room, but bye.